So let's recap, shall we? We did Ghostbusters on the Nintendo, and yeah, I know, Angry Video Game Nerd did it too, and there's a lot of similarities in what I talked about and what he talked about. It's not me trying to rip him off, and I'll be one of the few people that will actually talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like the irate gamer, he blatantly ripped off Angry Video Nerd. What did he ever say in rebuttal? Like officially on video? Maybe he did. Maybe I missed it. But I'll actually say something. I didn't purposely steal any material or anything like that. It's just that when you talk about a game and another person talks about it, you're gonna have similarities. And like even at the end of the Ghostbusters, this bitch is toast. Well, that's what they said in the movie. It just feels right. So, am I trying to copy the Angry Video Game Nerd? Not really per se, but does he inspire me? Yes, he does. I like some of the stuff the irate gamer's done too. And there's of course other people, and of course there's PewDiePie, and I don't do his slow motion. No. Well, you know what? I don't do any of that. But that's all I'd have to do to copy PewDiePie, quite frankly. But yeah, not to hate on anybody in particular, but everybody has their own style, everybody does their own thing, and that's what I'm doing. And I don't do just video games, so please, don't accuse me. Back on track here. Recapping. Yes, I did review Ghostbusters on Nintendo. There were similarities. I'm just pointing that out right now before anyone else does. Let's see. There's other games. I did the arcade game, the real Ghostbusters arcade game. That was really weird. Was that arcade machine plugged in? I thought it was. Anyways, there are 3 games that also exist that you probably never played. Maybe you never even heard of them, because they came out on the Commodore 64. That's right. And this is actually from my childhood. Not this exact unit, but the monitor itself still has those little glow-in-the-dark stars, which you probably can't see. And this is from my bedroom. I put these little glow-in-the-dark stars on it. God. I was such a nerd and such a geek. Such a dreamer. And this monitor, she still works. And we just happen to have 3 Ghostbusters games on the Commodore 64. I bet you're dying to see them, right? How bad can they be? They're not the worst, but you know what? Let's leave that up to you to decide. Let's check them out right now. 3 Ghostbusters games on the Commodore 64. I don't want to miss anything. Let's leave no stone unturned in this. Let's see if there's some rare gems that you haven't seen or never heard of. Let's go Ghostbusters all out on the Commodore 64. Ghostbusters! So let's begin with the first game. That's right, Ghostbusters. The opening speech really shows off the power of the SID chip. Let's listen to that again. Ghostbusters! As you can see, the Commodore 64 version is far superior in what types of sounds can be created. This is due to the Commodore 64 SID chip. The chip combines analog and digital circuitry, which even today is not possible to emulate at 100%. It really is an amazing piece of technology, and even today people are using the Commodore 64 SID chip in projects and music. Isn't that amazing? The game itself is very similar to the Nintendo version. You drive the Ghostbusters logo around the town, pooping out little pixel turds, and drive to buildings to catch ghosts so you can make money. The driving scenes are completely different, with the car being too large and there's no bad drivers to dodge. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, but, you don't need gas anymore, so really the only point to the driving scenes is to catch more ghosts on the road. I gotta say, the driving scene here, it feels like it could use some work. It just doesn't seem right to me. Anyways, once again, you catch ghosts to kill time. This time, you have to empty traps at headquarters, and you can't go back to the store. You may have noticed the key and the weird, gate thing moving around. Yup, that's the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. Once they both reach the Zool, you can enter the building. This is the most anticlimactic video game ever. After a boring time catching ghosts, finally getting to the Zool building, you have to get 2 Ghostbusters through the door that's guarded by a bouncing Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. That's it. No stairs. But as I watch the long sequence of the building, I find myself filled with a haunting reminder of the past. Think you have one last bite? Well, think again. Watch the ending and congratulations, you've beaten a great game. Anyways, they do give you a new bank account number, and this adds at least some minor replay value to the game, since you'll have more money to use in the store. I wish they added something like this to the Nintendo version. Another meh Ghostbusters game. That's right, a port of the arcade game? Isn't that crazy? Nintendo doesn't get it, but the Commodore 64 does? You know what's crazy? This is actually a pretty good port. It's impressive. It's even a bit easier than the arcade version, which is nice since you can't put in infinite quarters. Honestly, I could have seen this as a Nintendo game. Like a really good port or even a remake of the arcade game. It could have been great. Why didn't this happen? I just don't get it. There isn't too much more to say, except that I'm getting so damn tired of the Ghostbusters theme. By the time I actually have my Halloween party, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it. Maybe I could do like a Ghostbusters Michael Jackson mashup to break up the monotony. The final question here is, did they spell it right? Yes! Congratulations! You saved the city! They spelled it right. Oh, thank God. The game starts out promising enough with the game logo and the credits, like hairstylist and makeup and props in a video game? Is this a joke or something? Anyways, the game is really just 3 mini-games that follow scenes from the movie. You start out at the collecting the slime scene, where you have to go down the tunnel and you dodge enemies and you keep them from breaking your line. It kind of reminds me of Battletoads. The music is gone, by the way. Just sound effects. Huh. Kinda sucks. After this, the game takes a huge jump to the Statue of Liberty scene. You know the music. Higher and higher, higher. Well, as soon as the cutscene ends and the gameplay begins, there goes the music. This scene is just so weird. I don't get it. You control a whirling fireball and you shoot ghosts. What? Finally, after more cutscenes, with music, we reach the final battle of the game. Surprised? Yep, that's right. No music. You can actually select different Ghostbusters here. Oh my God! Winston! I know I haven't been talking about it, but out of all the Ghostbusters games I've shown you, this is the first one that we even get to see a picture of Winston. I know he wasn't there in the beginning, but he became a Ghostbuster in the first movie, so why is Winston always forgotten? I don't get it. I don't know. But he's here. He's actually in this game. Sort of. Anyways, due to the lack of consistent music, I'm going to call Ghostbusters 2 on the Commodore 64 Silent Busters. Although, I bet if there was music, it would mainly be the Ghostbusters theme non-stop, so I guess I shouldn't really complain. Overall, I'd say this game was a flop. If I had to choose, I'd go with the real Ghostbusters arcade port as the best Ghostbusters game on the Commodore 64. So like I said, I'd really recommend you check out the arcade game, or the arcade port on the Commodore 64. Both, relatively decent games, honestly, in their own right. But the other games out there, there's a lot of room for improvement. It just seems like they rushed a little bit too much because it was based on the movie and they have to have it out on time. I get that. And you know what? It could have been worse, so I guess I should shut up. But there's been some strange things going on around.